goes somewhere, we're good. We all will just flow with it.
Right, but I think I like all of our points. So let's get those points and let it, but you're right, David, let it flow for sure. But
Yeah, like
let's try and get our points that we
Scott
have.
can ad lib on Jesse.
What were you saying, Mark?
I mean, I only just played with them back in the day with Drummondville and all those guys.
Wait one more minute.
He was a badass.
Okay,
Jesse.
and then Norwood's gonna talk about Fernando Pullum. So that's who he wants to talk about, David? Because you have on your list, but Norwood wants to talk about Fernando.
That's cool.
Okay, because you've got Little Feet and you've got Anari George.
Anara.
That's why you're gonna say it, not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we live on YouTube, Mark? Okay, so we're going to be live on YouTube any minute.
When you said the Phoenix, I thought you meant the Phoenix Hotel Frisco where the shit goes down.
We are live on YouTube, y'all.
Are we live yet?
We're
we
live.
Already tense up. I'm scared. Are we live? Oh my
Are we
God.
live?
You got 3 minutes before we officially kick the show off, but holy crap, we got a show tonight.
Man, we just had a
Right.
freaking free concert with freaking Jackson Browne right here.
Right?
A little warm up. That was cool.
I know.
And Tal
That was-
Wilkenfeld.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
right
Tal.
on. A
Yeah.
double whammy of coolness.
Oh, coolness. It's going to be a great show. I'm very excited about this one.
Hey, David, Tall just sent you an email. What does that mean?
I don't know. Let me take a look.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I can't make the show. Oh, no, just kidding.
Can you translate? It's not going to happen tonight to me.
Let's see.
Oh, that's
here.
Tommy Chong. That was Tommy Chong.
Oh, maybe Tommy will just pop up under the screen. And go.
Well, we got to have the show when Tommy interviews Krieger. Krieger interviews Jackson.
Hey,
Right.
hey, Norwood.
Yeah, man.
Is Garrett out with you tonight?
Yeah.
Give him a big hug for me.
She says the
Sure we
link
will.
isn't working. Let me.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it worked.
Oh, is that for
before.
Facebook? I think maybe for a Facebook cross post.
Oh, the cross post. Mark, can you send it again real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Send it to me and I will.
I want it too. If you can send it to me, I want to like ship it up. Maybe just drop it in our thing so we can all ship it right now.
No, this is just for cross posting to Tal's page.
I have
Oh,
chimes if you guys need any psychedelic sound effects.
I
We have
I
2
like
minutes.
chimes all the time. Oh, you can't hear them well though. You got to bring them closer.
Yeah, okay. I'll get them right in the mic.
But I've lost all my high end hearing, so it's hard for me.
You
to-
guys
Yeah.
watching us live, you get to watch all the shenanigans and craziness that happens
Yeah,
right before we go live.
I
and
have
our
a
true
gong.
confessions.
True. Oh yeah, true confessions.
True
Yeah, true
confessions.
confessions. I just told the world I
Have
can't
you
hear my
ever?
high end
Have you
hearing.
ever?
We're resending a cross posting link right now, Tal. We're resending it.
Mhm.
Mark, would it be the same link you sent me before?
I just resent it.
Okay, got it. Mark just resent it. Here it is. I am going to copy and paste through. Here we
Step
go.
by step. It's like when you put together a new program, they do it step by step for you.
Here we go.
There we go.
One.
Kenny, as
And-
soon I took E to Chicago, and as soon as we got to the hotel room, he regretted not bringing his guitar. He said, "Oh, I should have brought my guitar."
It's been sent.
You get to a
Bert,
point in
if
life
you
where you
wanna-
just don't travel without
If
it.
you want to let her know, I resent the link. If it doesn't work, tell her not to sweat it.
Okay,
But Ferks, that's a
And-
sign of a true chosen one, because as a guitar player, like you're like separated from a part of your body once you become one with your guitar. When you don't have it with you, even on a
exactly.
family trip, doesn't matter.
You guys, guess what time it is?
What time is it?
Ooh,
It is that time. It's 5:30. Mark, you want to push us live or are we?
Pushing the button now.
Can't be pushed.
Pushing the button now. Let's wait. Let's wait.
Paquito-
We know we
Dave-
are for sure.
David Paquito Moss.
Keto. I
The
can't
good
wait to
thing
hear
no one
that
can see
fine
my
intro.
The good thing no one can see my lower half because
That's what I've heard.
All those taquitos.
Have you never had a Paquito Moss joke with David Moss, even though it's the wrong
No.
spelling?
Never heard that one before.
Never heard that. That's good.
God, I got the Moss jokes all day.
Yeah.
Happy
you got
birthday,
the-
David. David, happy
Oh,
birthday.
Oh,
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
brought up-
Okay,
bring
you
that up
guys,
on
guess
this.
what? We are live on Facebook.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
And I just want to make sure I'm seeing it. Yep,
The metaverse.
there it is.
I'm
All right,
real.
guys.
Everybody all on Facebook.
We're starting the
Happy
show.
birthday, David
We're
Moss.
Are we
starting
on
the
the
show.
metaverse?
Thank you, guys. Hang on, everybody. Here we go. Quiet on the set. Here we go.
The Rock and Talk Show, Beyond Backstage, with your hosts, Norwood Bishop, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss.
And welcome to the Rock and Talk Show number 59. This is the bi-monthly show that dives deep into the entertainment industry, the stories and culture around it, the business, everything in between. This is an exciting show tonight. I'm the Moss Man. Let me quickly introduce my co-hosts. We've got the lovely Sheila Conlon over here from the Conlon Company. We've
Live
got
from New York.
live from New York.
New York.
We've got Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction, Porno for Pyros, Norwood Fisher from Fishbone and Trulio Disgracious, the legendary guitarist Kenny Olson, best known for Kid Rock, Experience Hendrix, and last but not least, we got Scotty Page, Pink Floyd, Toto, Supertramp. Oh my God, we have a great show tonight. We have the legendary Jackson Browne and Tal Wilkenfeld joining us tonight. I am
another
just-
legend, a young
right.
legend.
Exactly.
two legends.
Two legends. Wow,
So
what a,
amazing.
what a
Too much
show
fun.
tonight. Yeah.
And real quickly, I wanted to say happy birthday to David Moss.
Aw.
Happy birthday, my man.
Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
We're so
dude.
happy you're here and 100 more, my man. 100 more.
Congratulations on another successful trip around the sun, buddy.
Yeah.
Did you spend part of that birthday in your birthday suit?
Part of it.
I
Hey,
guess.
David, stand up, would you?
No. All right, Kenny, why don't you thank our last week's guests? Because we want to get right to it. We got a
I'm
good
honored
one.
to thank our special guest, Luther Dickinson and Chapman Jackson. That was a fucking amazing show.
Yeah.
You know, so much great discussion and just awesome.
Two beautiful
Great,
souls.
great, just beautiful souls, like you said, and amazing talent.
Well,
Big fun.
normally we would talk for a few minutes, but we're not. We have our guests are too special. So how do you introduce one of America's greatest singer-songwriters of all time, rock and roll Hall of Famer, the legendary Jackson Browne? Thank you, Jackson, for joining us,
Yes.
and welcome to the Rock and Talk Show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you?
Believe it. It's like I'm hanging with a fabric of my life. I mean, it's like
Yeah, I
such
know,
a thing
right?
of being with you. Oh, I'm just blown away, man. I mean, what
thank
you did, I mean, the songs through the years have just been unbelievable. So
I know,
very
it's-
thankful you're on with us today, Jackson.
Thanks. It's a
I
pleasure.
know it's like I grew up listening to Jackson Browne, and then I went throughout high school during the Fast Times at Ridgemont High era. So it's like it's been with me my whole life.
Well, for me, it was The Simpsons, but what?
Yeah. Right, I'm on The Simpsons.
Yeah. Welcome.
Where are you?
Where-
Where are you right now?
I'm in Santa Monica. I'm in a kitchen of my writing room. This is where there's a table I can put the computer in. You know.
And you
Well,
can
the
cook at the
kitchen,
same
like, writing
time.
a
right?
song, you put all the
can
right
cook,
ingredients in that same
around.
room.
Yeah.
Hey, when you were growing up, was it piano or guitar was your preference?
Piano, well, both, but I really started playing guitar much earlier. My father played piano.
Okay.
There was a piano around, but I didn't play piano until I had already written a lot of songs on guitar.
Interesting. And then that changed your songwriting, I'm sure, completely.
Yeah, now I kind of write on both. I'll try to play. Now there's lots of things I can do on guitar that just don't translate to piano, and vice versa. But
And do you usually write do you write the lyric first, like the music? How do you usually work? I was always
I
curious.
do it at the same time. I get it started, and usually I'll have an idea or a thought, and I'll get a piece of music for it, and then it'll start filling in there. But it's a little bit of a.
So, I was curious, how many songs do you think you've written? Curious, just out of curiosity.
Not that many. Not that many.
I'm just like,
That's a-
Did you
What
like
records worth?
hundreds of them and then pick three, or is it like you just?
I'm a quality guy. I've tried to write good ones. I'm not trying to. I mean, I really spend so much time on them. You know, I don't have a lot of finished songs laying around. I mean, I finish the ones I need to finish. You know.
Well, it's like a relationship. I've got a few that are so important and I nurse them, and then I got a million acquaintances and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's those relationships with those songs and those lyrics and those melodies that you water them and they fertilize and they grow, and then the whole world sings along when you take them on tour.
Yeah,
And that's
it's like-
cool.
Well, this
Like, what is it? I mean, you've written more timeless songs. It's like, I think your whole career through, it's like just infinite amounts of timeless songs that just have, changed people's lives, help people get through stuff. Thank you for all you do.
oh, thanks, man.
Hey, Jackson, what age were you when you knew you were pointed in the direction of being who you are, and what was the biggest inspiration at that time?
Well, I was about 15, I think, maybe 14 or 15, and I realized that if school wasn't interesting to me, and I found myself working on a lyric inside my biology book. I was just, I'm just focused on that, and I had a lot of friends my age, and we played blues and folk music and bluegrass. I mean, it was the kind of the 60s were so diverse, because of folk music, really, because there were so many different, and everybody, also radio, you heard everything come down the same two stations, but there were two stations in LA that I listened to, or Orange County, KHJ, KRLA. I mean, the pop stations all kind of played everything. So you might hear, Give Me Some Lovin', or Oh Happy Day, and at the same time you might hear, well, you'd hear the Beatles, of course, but you'd hear all kinds of. I mean, I think it was the beginning of FM radio too, so you started hearing a lot of different stuff.
Did you hear Fats Domino and some of the roots of like what Elvis was taking? Did you hear where it was coming from?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, of course, there you go. Like that's Fats Domino, like, Blueberry Hill or I'm Walking. Those were big hits on pop radio. And that was the thing that I didn't even realize at the time was that Ray Charles crossed over into that New Sounds and Country Western record right at the same time that he did What I Say. And so immediately people would say, have you heard of Ray Charles? And then immediately it really kind of crossed over into this other.
What a brilliant business move. My God.
It was gospel. It had that gospel root to it,
My father listened to Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, and he was and he played piano, so his friends all played, and there were jam sessions at our house and stuff. So I was around.
Oh, wow!
I was around Dixieland jazz and standard, and he was a big Django Reinhardt freak. So
nice.
Person,
I love that you mentioned
That's
KHJ.
awesome.
Like that really takes me back. And then listening to AM radio and then discovering FM radio all of a sudden, and like hardly any commercials and very focused. And let's talk for a moment. Obviously, we have a connection that's very near and dear to both of us, and that is one of the greatest American bands of all time, Little Feat.
Yeah.
Talk about like Little people. We all know their greatness, but they're not necessarily a household name in America. But talk about their importance in American music and their importance to you as an artist.
Well, they were really important to me. They were just so funky, and they were so rhythmically powerful. You had Sam Clayton, this flywheel, this incredible, deeply grooving conga playing with Richie Hayward, and with Kenny Gradney. It was undeniably powerful. And then it allowed Lowell, who was a very rhythmic singer, also to just have this really solid place to sing from. And Paul too, a great singer. I just did an interview for the movie that's being made about them yesterday, and I found that it's pretty hard to describe what they do and what they are. But they had, all kinds of blues and New Orleans kind of influences. At the same time.
When I was a young drummer, I'm 55 now, but what I what I pulled out of Richie and the conga work
Yeah.
was from the swamp, and I didn't even know what that meant, but that came to my head.
Yeah.
What the heck does swamp mean? I don't even know, but it felt like it was coming out of a swamp, because
Yeah.
it just, no matter what size your body is, tall or skinny or fat, it hugged you. It swamped you, you know.
Yeah.
But did you ever play with Richie yourself?
As a matter of fact, I had a funny experience with Richie where I ran into Lowell in front of the Troubadour, and Richie was with him, and I'd met Lowell once before, and he said, you know, you should play with this guy, and he introduced me to Richie, and he said, yeah, and I'm not kidding, you guys should get together. So Richie came to my house with his drum kit and me with my acoustic guitar. I mean, he set up his drums in my living room, and like,
That's cool.
drums and an acoustic guitar. And it didn't work. I didn't know how to make that sound right. It was just like the drums were loud and the acoustic guitar, I had no idea. But I had lots of friends. In a funny way, I had the same experience. Dwayne Allman lent me a guitar of his. He lent me his spare guitar and said, this folk music thing's okay. It's all right, but you should be playing with a band. And borrow this. And he lent me this Telecaster that was his second guitar.
Wow.
It was when he was in the Hourglass. And I remember this great friend of mine, Sandy Konikoff, a drummer, setting up drums in a den, and trying to play acoustic guitar with a drummer. And I couldn't, it's like that thing in Spinal Tap where he's trying to fold the bread over the.
Yeah. But
doesn't work.
I've always been fascinated with Russ Kunkel. He's such a muscular drummer.
Yeah.
And your music is so sensitive. He had a sense of like Levon Helm.
Yeah.
Like this bold, very bold, but he left room for your song. He never stepped on you. How did you direct him, or it just happened naturally?
I just lucked into getting to play with him. And he had that unique, he was able to play with people who were mainly acoustic musicians and provide, sometimes you do it with congas or you do it with the simplest pattern, and he just had a way of hearing what you were doing and providing that confident beat without stepping on it, without overwhelming it.
Yeah, he was so bold. Like Jeff Porcaro was like a cursive calligraphy, and Kunkel is like a typewriter. Bam,
I think that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah. Well, I've talked too much. Anybody else?
No, but your selection of like musicians, I remember back in the. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Kenny.
I remember back in the day, I was blessed to get to know Greg Allman, and we had this amazing conversation about you and your geniusness, and just we're sitting on his bus, just him and I talking about all kinds of music. And I know there's many stories I'd love to ask you about all that, but I do want to ask you while I have the chance. Doctor My Eyes. I'm being a guitar player. When I first heard that solo, I was like, moved, like one of those classic solos, those timeless solos you hear and go, wow. So I got to learn about Jesse Ed Davis, and I want to, talk to you a little bit, maybe tell me a little bit about him, working with him, because he's such a legend to work with all these people, but some people don't know who he is, and.
Well, Jesse Ed Davis played with, he was from Oklahoma for your listeners and your viewers. He was a great, funky American Indian. He was a gigantic. He was big.
Oh yeah, he was
very undeniably Indian presence. And when I met him, he was playing a pink paisley Telecaster. in a room with my friend Pamela Poland, who had been in a band called Gentle Soul, and she was trying to upgrade into like a real band that everybody really played and where there were the drums and stuff. So we were playing with Roy Marinell, who's one of the writers of Werewolves of London later. He's a friend of Waddy Wachtel and Warren Zevon. But I met him then, and I'd go hear him play, and that's where I met Bob Glaub. Bob Glaub was playing with Jesse Ed, and Jesse was really generous to me. He invited me to his house, and we'd sit around his house in Venice and play me songs. And Pamela had recorded one of his songs called Tulsa County or something like that. And the fact that he sounded like a redneck, he sounded like Deep South, but he was this big. And if you read, and there's a guy writing a book about him, and it's going to be really revelatory because, there are a lot of incredible roadhouses and gospel music venues. I mean, blues venues, but also gospel barbecues and things that would happen in Oklahoma. And he was like Oklahoma. He had this just deep. And anyway, I called him to play. There I was making my first record, and I'd made a track of Doctor My Eyes, and it was just, the track was cut with congas and piano and bass, and that's why Lee Clark's playing so busily. You know, you know, there's all this. It was a whole band. It was very full with only 3 pieces, and I had to like stop. I just had to play straight, you know, 4s, you know. So, but that's why that track swings that way. And then later we put the drums on. Meanwhile, when Jesse came in, I wasn't playing him that song. I was playing him a different song, and he didn't like it. He just thought, I mean, he didn't say he didn't like it. He just listened to the song go by and he said, "You got anything else?"
That's cool. That's bold.
Well, I think let's play him that other one, Doctor My Eyes. Yeah.
Did he just whip through it in like one
okay,
take? It feels like that, you know, that he just really captured the moment. Because
he only played it once. He played.
Yeah, so I figured that first time Holy Ghost experience for him.
Yeah, he said, "Take it to the." You know, play it for me. And everything you hear, I used every note that he played, like everything you hear. He's just tuning up.
Even if it was a mistake, it was beautiful.
That's a solo. Roll it back, and then he just played that solo. At the end of the solo, he put his guitar down and started to leave. You know,
he's done.
And I think, you know, I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, Jesse died. You know, heroin overdose, and Jesse was. I think he was only doing the session because he needed to cop.
Yeah.
Or if he was comfortable, he might have been able to stay longer, but he just wanted to leave. And so we came out and said, "Well, would you play at the end too?" And he said, "Oh yeah, of course." So I run it to the end. He played, and then my engineer asked him to play these sort of like distorted notes, you know. And can you put your headstock on the top of the amp and make it kind of howl a little bit like that?
Yeah.
And he looked at him with such contempt. He was like, "Well, I've been spending my whole career like avoiding doing anything like that."
Well, it's got, you know, guys like, you know, the great masters of the telly, like Jesse or Roy Buchanan, the people that they played with, you know, even like members of the Beatles through the years, and yourself, and these legendary people they worked with through the years. And it's, you know, but there you can hear that real deal Holyfield in his guitar playing, and you can tell it's one beautiful take. First time.
Yeah. And, you know, of course, he was in a band with Taj Mahal and Ry Cooder.
Yeah.
The Rising Suns. And so he was around LA, and he'd played in a lot of situations. I think that, because he played with Bob Dylan and you know, Rod Stewart, and he played with.
Yeah, when he was in town here, I used to play because Bob. That's how I met Jesse Ed too, because Bob's one of my favorite bass players on the planet. I mean, that guy. What I love about Bob is he plays only at the first 5 frets. He's not one of those guys that plays all this. The guy really plays bass, and his time is so good. But that's how I met Jesse. Yeah, because he was around here in LA, and I remember it was Bob Glob, and I remember Eddie Zipp. I don't remember that. And if you remember Zipp and Jerry Jumanville and those guys from New Orleans, Jumanville, and Freddie Staley, you know, was playing drums and stuff back in the days. But yeah, he was an incredible guitar player, man. He was such a great feel, no question.
You know, if anybody that's living or dead that you never played with, who would you like to sit down with? Any instrument? Is there like man, one day I'd like to sit with that cat?
Oh man,
that's a tough one.
That's really tough.
You've sat with everybody, probably, which is cool.
Well, I was in a lot of places where I don't really have any chops to speak of. You know, I'm really kind of always glomming onto the guitarist, or like using something that somebody played and making something out of it. I'm more of I kind of compose out of found things, you know, out of things that have. I don't come into the studio with even songs that are finished anymore, because I know that I'm going to find something in there, or they're going to be I'm going to learn something about the song by what people bring to it.
Right. That's beautiful.
I mean, I learned not to ask anybody to play anything in particular a while back. I just thought, you know, like the best thing for this session would be for me to shut the fuck up and just.
Speaking of asking people to play something,
that is
so
cool.
Wait, let me ask one more question, because you know all this amazing creative things that you guys are all talked about being musicians and, you know, creating great songs, songwriting. You know, I'd like to ask you a question about the business side of things, because you've been with a couple different labels, and the passing of Mo Austin just recently, I know he was a big influence in your career and relationship with him. So I wanted to, just get a little, tell us a little bit about how that worked for you.
Here's the thing. I didn't know Mo very well, but I would say that he was a big influence on everybody at the time that he came to great influence in Warner's, because, I believe he signed Jimi Hendrix.
He did. Yeah.
And before that was just, he was like Frank Sinatra's label manager, and he signed, Jimi Hendrix. So that's like
that's cool.
That's like crazy.
Brought along
That's
Randy Newman and Ry Cooder, and those guys weren't selling any records, but he stood by them. He signed Bonnie Raitt.
Wow.
He was
signed Little Feat.
He signed Little Feat. So and so he had taste and he had vision, and he was one of the few that did. Honestly, he was like, if you look at Columbia, there's John Hammond Sr., some of the people that followed in his footsteps, Clive Davis and Walter Nickoff, we're all kind of doing what those guys did, which was to nurture talent, and the business changed quite a bit since then.
Right.
Well, I got very lucky. Jane's Addiction was signed to Warner Brothers by Mo and Lenny, and they said, don't change a thing. Show the world what it's like after hours in LA.
Yeah.
Do what you do. You get weird, and we'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember. I was only 18 thinking, do all bands get this lucky to get to do what they get to do? Or is this unusual? Yeah. But I just saw Frank Zappa, Grateful Dead. These guys do the weird stuff. This is a perfect label, Mm-hmm. But of course, in what Geffen, you think about.
Geffen was doing the same thing. Look, if you don't know, nobody knows. Just do you don't need an A&R, man. You just need
right.
Go in there and find yourself, do what you want to do, and
go.
Jackson, can we ask you to perform a song for us?
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. Do what you do.
You got anything else?
First of all,
anything else there?
Yeah, anything else?
Wait a minute.
What kind of guitar is that, Jackson? What is that thing?
This is a Gibson CF100.
Wow.
That's a beauty.
Somebody's put a second pickguard on it, probably at the factory. It looks like.
Wow.
So these sound really good tuned to a tuning. They just have Gibson's got that kind of
What year is that roughly? Is that an older one or a new guitar?
I think it's from the 50s.
50s.
Wow.
Okay.
50s, I think, maybe. I've got some that are some of the LGs that are basically the same thing but without the cutaway, that are from the 40s. They're all different. And you have to put heavier strings on the top because otherwise it's kind of binky sounding. Some of them have this P90 kind of pickups and knobs on the front. So if you could. So this is not a very recent song, but not a real old one. This is called "Giving That Heaven Away." Pretty over, 1 year over, legal age of consent. In the flower of sweet youth, our days of heaven were spent. Giving that heaven away, giving that heaven away. Rock and rollin', freeing your soul and giving that heaven away. I'm looking around for that 60s sound, but those days are gone. And all us acid dropping, world stopping, bebopping freaks are just hanging on. Hey now, Nova, did you have to show the whole world how to rebel? Standing there fine with your long brown hair like a cool breeze blowing through hell. Giving that heaven away, giving that heaven away. Ooh. Giving that heaven away. Seemed like the whole world's at a fire sale, but I might be wrong. With all this home shopping, bling bling and hip hopping, maybe it's just going strong. But hey now, know that you have to show them. We all know the ones who are always making it pay. Well, any fool can sell a jewel, but an angel will give it away. Giving that heaven away, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away. Where did the day go in that Winnebago? The two of us, hot as a stove. Fools for pleasure, digging for treasure down in that black oak grove. Giving that heaven away, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you.
That siren solo.
The siren was amazing. The siren
the
was
siren
like
was
a
a-
great effect. Perfect timing right
was.
in there for the
Well,
siren.
Yeah, the siren was great.
Let's have a
I-
prayer for her, whoever that siren is going to
Yes.
help.
Yes,
Yes.
and I want to say
I
that
can't-
microphone sounded great too.
I can't believe I just got to watch
Go
something
Louis.
so cool.
I love your song and your songwriting and your voice, Jackson.
Oh my
I'm
God.
such a pleasure to be with you together
It
remotely.
is.
Yeah, it's telling
It's-
stories that you see the movie in your head as you hear it. It's really
Oh,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jackson, we have another connection, and I'm going to turn it over to Norwood, but Norwood and I are both very dear friends with Fernando Pullum,
Yeah.
as you are.
Yeah.
So Norwood, why don't you take it over here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jackson is the first time we connected was on the John Lennon bus,
Yeah.
deep in South LA,
Yeah.
with some of Fernando's kids, with Angelo Moore, and the three of us like engaging with those kids and helping them along. It was one of the most beautiful afternoons
Yeah.
that I could imagine, and the kids were amazing.
Yeah.
But I was struck by so, and there have been like maybe now many encounters through Fernando where we've been in the same room. He brought me to his studio.
Yeah.
And there's, as you were singing that last song, and like any fool can sell a jewel, but an angel will give it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Like that hit me.
You heard that. Okay. Thank you.
Because it's
Yeah.
beyond philanthropy. You are giving of yourself in a way, showing up physically, and and I caught that as we engaging with Fernando every time.
No, that's the thing about Fernando's work is it's so rewarding, and you get so much from being around those students because they're committed. They learn from him what it means to be committed to their own to growth and to discovery, and they don't know necessarily who I am, at all. They're told, he's somebody, famous, or he's
Right.
done this. And usually Fernando takes the trouble to make sure they know it's somebody to pay attention to, the people that come to speak with them or to work with them. But they find whatever they find there. The thing is that they're wide open, and they find out soon enough, that it's music is there to get you whatever you put into it, you're going to get out. And one of my favorite things is in an orchestra, he's got to point out if somebody's making mistakes. There's going to be some consequence to making a mistake in an orchestra. And he'll tell them to celebrate. Which means that they got to do some push-ups or something. But they call it celebrating. It's not like that tough whiplash bullshit.
Yeah, whiplash, baby.
Not that. It's that just celebrating. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
Try not to make that mistake again. But he mentors, dozens of kids every year. He did, and the people that go through his program, the object is to get to college and to make a life, to become a musician, of course, because a musician is the great parable, the great metaphor for what it means to work together, to be in something together, a community, and to know your part in it, And so
Absolutely.
it's very. And when I met Fernando, it was so enriched by being around his kids.
Are you into sports?
Well, not too much. I mean, I grew up playing baseball and football and surfing. It's more surfing.
I was going to ask if you've ever
Norwood,
seen.
You didn't bring your boards on tour with you, Norwood, did you?
Well, not to the desert, bro.
There used
Start
to
a new
be
sport.
a lot of surfers in Phoenix.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
we
the-
try to keep Norwood from doing things. 'Cause what he did is on the way to our gig, he fell down off his skateboard. He broke his
Yeah.
arm, and so we don't
Like
let
2
him do
days
these
before our
things
gig.
anymore.
Yeah.
The water's forgiving now. But do you still surf?
Do I still
never
so?
have to give it
I have
up,
a problem with my. I got a problem with my bursitis in the shoulder. That's like I'm gonna fix it. I want to go out. I want to pedal out, but if I, when you're out there in the water, you say it's forgiving, but of course you forget all caution when you're trying to scratch over that set that's coming in. It's like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you get to the other side, and I keep paddling the wrong way. My doctor just said, look, stay off the short board. You'll be okay. The bursitis will heal. There's no operation for this.
Right.
Give me like a titanium screw like you did in the other arm. I said, no, I can't do that.
Though, like going back to what those lyrics in the song you just sang, wow, mind blowing, which is only, I mean, it's not a surprise because of all the lyrics that you've written through the years and your songs, and right out to like the loadout for us fellow musicians. I remember rolling down the road so many times in a tour bus with that song just being my theme song and my soundtrack of where I was at the moment. And I gotta speak for all of us really that have, been on the road. So
I was going to ask you about the Pretender, because there's rumors that there's some inference towards Fred Tackett with that song. Is that?
Well, Fred played on that song.
I know he played on
Played
it.
on the record. That was Jeff Porcaro and Fred Tackett and
Wow.
and Bob Glove. The credits say that it's Lee Sklar, but that's a mistake, and I promised to
But-
correct in the
Well,
next.
to back up, you said the congas came first on Doctor in My Eyes before the drum track.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, because the congas are. I always thought they led the whole thing, but how did I know they actually did? They led the whole damn thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I have a 12-year-old. He's playing guitar, and I try to show him everything I know, but stay out of his way. But my parents had no idea what I was getting into. But I know what it's like. It's a wonderful place to be, surrounded by other musicians. And it's what's
Did
that?
you play drums first, or did you play guitar first? Or
I played drums since I was 8, and I haven't stopped. I still play too much. I think I'm going crazy, but but it's so nice to see young people embrace rock and roll music, because you can write songs on a piano, you can write songs on a computer, but when you write them with a guitar and you plug in and you get surrounded by other people, the energy comes alive, and it stimulates everybody around you. And I know that your son plays music and you enjoy, checking it out and being there live. What a thrill it is, isn't it? I mean, how do you feel? What's the feeling, man?
It is I love my son's music, and it's really interesting that I know that this many people would not be standing around dancing and grooving the way they groove to his music. I have to realize he's got something completely, other than what I mean. My music's a little cerebral, I mean, I have to try to find the, music that parts that groove, and I mean, generally, like Doctor My Eyes, I would trick myself into thinking the thing. I mean, I was playing this sort of odd piano part that was basically just like octave notes, thumbs actually.
Yeah.
It's like that skit on Saturday Night Live, give me a bouncy C,
Yeah.
So, but that's what I had to stop doing that, and go dun 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 dun. I like the Beatles. I thought, okay, the Beatles go dun 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 dun.
It's getting better all the time.
And all the swing and they just had all this fun around, playing the swing around it. So, I get so much from the people I play with, and well, there's a guy in my band, Jeff Young, who I'll play an unfinished song for, and I'll just listen to what he hears and what he gives back to me. On the recent record, I have a song called Downhill from Everywhere, and I was trying to work out an arrangement with the band, and at one point, and all the words, I didn't even have all the words. I wasn't singing. I was just sort of la-la-laing through it. But the phrasing was like, it's just straight, rock drumming, like, and my phrasing is like, da 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 da, and it's playing those like that
against it.
Well, I got him to sing for me. I said, like, Jeff, you do it. I'm just going to try to play something better. Like, you just sing something. He's going down down da 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 down down, and so his vocal just everybody starts swinging like crazy around it and playing this track because the vocal was not singing against the beat; it was swinging the beat. It was leading the swing.
Yeah.
So I wound up having to write a whole part of the song that did that. I had to change. I changed the song, and matter of fact, he's one of the writers on the song for that very influence, because I wouldn't have come up with that way.
Well, that's the thing with my 12-year-old kid. He's on a drummer, and I go, "What would your idea be for a drum part?" And he throws something at me, and I think it's genius because I would never think of it. It's coming from a whole nother set of ears. It's not trained, and he didn't listen to records 10,000 times like I have, and microscope everything. It's fresh. And that's why I was wondering about your kid. He must give you fresh ideas. Like you said, he thinks below the waist and we think above the neck, they're still feeling it.
I'm telling you, described it as that.
I've seen Ethan at the Mint a few times, and he's amazing. Like his singer is incredible.
Yeah. They have a great collaboration.
You should throw him out a plug. What's the name of their band? Let's do it.
It's called Elaine Zane.
Elaine Zane.
Keep an eye on the Mint. They play at the Mint sometimes.
Love the Mint. Gotta love the Mint.
Love the Mint.
TC, Mr. TC, we got to give him a shout out.
Todd Christensen.
Yes.
You were asking me about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you asked me of Fred Tackett, and Fred Tackett played on the Pretender, and I think what you might have heard about was that I wanted to be Fred Tackett.
That is what I heard.
I've always wanted to be Fred Tackett. He's the greatest rhythm guitar player on the planet.
The guy,
I wanted to be Fred Tackett.
Plug him into the song, and this thing would groove, and he was just playing like it was like for me, I thought it would be a lot more fun to be somebody that just grooved the song and responded to the song, and not have the responsibility of trying to say something in a song, So at that time, it took me so long to write The Pretender, and I just sort of exhausted, really. I thought I'd like to be that guy, he comes in and plays whatever song's being played and just add something, magical to it. And
that's cool.
That is exactly what I'd heard. Actually, Kenny Gradney told me that, and that he walked in, he'd plug in, he'd sit down, he'd do it so easily, and then he'd pick up and walk out, and there he goes.
Yeah.
It's great when you get to know what the lyrics are about from the guy that wrote the damn song. That's cool. Because I'd always question the singer in my band, Perry Farrell, and
Yeah.
he writes a song. It's called "Pigs in Zen" or "Had a Dad," and I'm trying to decipher it all, and I'm totally off. But my meaning is cool. But when I get it from him, oh, brilliant! That's what it meant. I get it.
Amazing. Perry Farrell's incredible.
Yeah, he's a good,
Amazing.
he's a good apple.
writer.
So Scott, I think you've got.
I was just curious. I was kind of curious, obviously there's so much going on in music now. Things have changed like dramatically, right? I mean, the way we make music, the machines, everything that's going on, and then the way the business is. Are you paying much attention to what's happening, how the business is working, where the, like NFTs is a big deal right now, right?
I know you're onto NFTs.
You see, that's
here. I got an article about NFTs that I clipped out of a paper that a local, maybe it was even like not a fancy paper like the New York Times, but maybe it was the USA Today, but it was somebody talking about NFTs, and it was just sort of rounded up opinion about NFTs. To me, I think it's totally, I can't grasp it. I can't figure it.
It's fascinating because, NFTs basically, for me, they represent freedom because it basically completely breaks the old system, puts the power back in the person. It's total direct to consumer, because what NFTs are great about is you can build a business model on top of them. They're programmable. And then you got this robot network handling all the back end for you. So you always get paid. Everybody gets paid. It's a beautiful thing. So they're incredible. So I was just curious because, you have, archiving so much of everything around right now, and NFTs would be a place to put it for the, forever kind of a deal, right? So it's just fascinating. I was just curious if you were following that at all. If you ever want to talk about it, it's my space.
Okay,
I love it.
you might have, you might find.
I'll give you the lesson, brother, because it is the best thing that's ever happened for the artist. It's like crazy. I mean, finally, people are making money and they can basically support themselves, and NFTs are making it possible.
That all sounds good.
Yep.
So what's next for you? What's next? What's on your bucket list that you haven't hit yet?
Oh, I just like to write some more songs. There's a few people that I'd like to work with. That there's some, there's some producers I think I might like to get to show me stuff. I mean, Mitchell Froome's one. John Leventhal is another. But I got to tell you something funny that happened. I was listening to KCRW, and I was listening to like an evening show or something, or just, I don't know, it was like new music, right? And generally, I'll just skate I'll just like kind of cruise by those channels sometimes and hear some stuff, and it switched to this amazing song. I thought, now this is really happening. This is fantastic. I listened to this whole thing. When I realized it was not a new song at all, and I had the same reaction to it the first time I heard it, but it was something from Hotter Than July. It was that Stevie Wonder incredible mashup of reggae and that kind of funk thing. Yeah. That was like, and singing was so great. And I'm thinking, now you see these young people, they're not really putting much into the lyrics.
That's hilarious.
I'd have to get this and like really study. Well, what is he saying exactly? But then when they back announced it, I went, oh man, that's exactly what I felt about it when I heard it. Like,
Hilarious.
Well,
every 10 years I hear it. I still won't remember it. I won't recognize it, but
So wait, you guys, we're in the last. This show could be. First of all, thank you, Jackson, for joining us. This has been like a dream come true for all of us.
Yeah.
But we're in the last 15 minutes of the show, and this is where we're going to bring in our special guest to close it out. Steven, you wanna introduce our guest?
Absolutely. She's a technical wizard on bass and guitar. She is a masterful songwriter and singer. She has courage in her career choices.
yeah.
She loves dogs. And she's just my friend. Please welcome Tal Wilkenfeld. Hi, Tal.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Tal.
Oh, welcome to the Rock and Talk Show.
Thanks for having me.
All the way from Iceland.
All the way
right.
from Iceland. Yeah, it's chilly here.
Cool enough.
Who are you sitting with? Who's out there with you?
I'm sitting with two of the closest people in my life. We got Charlotte Gibson on the vocals.
Hello there.
Charlotte.
And I got Nate Worth on percussion.
Hi, Nate.
Oh, the camera's there. He is. He can.
Oh,
waving.
cool.
All right.
And
That's where the drummer belongs, over there in the corner.
Corner.
Yeah, we keep the musicians on
Can you
this
turn-
side. We put the drummers.
Can you
over
turn them around to face the wall, though? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, we're having
We've
fun
had
over
a-
here.
We've had a great show with Jackson, and it's just been so fun talking about music and friendship.
Tal, have you ever
And-
heard of Jackson Browne? Have you know who that is?
Never heard of him. No.
You guys should get together and write a tune.
just changed
We'll
guitars.
We have, you know what? This is Jackson's guitar that I'm playing right now.
Oh, that's great.
Actually enough, yes.
And it's a
Tell
Gibson.
us. Tell us.
No, that's
Well, this is his CF 100.
how did you get it over there?
I
Oh, really?
To Iceland, I know they got like wood restrictions flying with that now.
have like 10 of Jackson's guitars over here that he's generously lent me for an indefinite amount of time.
period, yeah.
How did you two meet? Like, how'd you two come together?
We met at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 20th anniversary.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was playing with Jeff Beck. Bonnie and Ray and I were trying to find our seats, and she started to play with Jeff Beck, and we just sort of froze. We just sort of stood there and this.
We'll sit. Yeah, we'll sit here. This is fine.
Yeah, and then we spoke after the show and we connected. And then another friend of mine, Sonia Kitchell, was in LA, and she was also hanging out with Jackson, and she invited me to this dinner they were all doing, and so I joined that, and so we reconnected there, and then I played Jackson some of my songs, and he quickly became like a mentor to me for songwriting. And now there's no lyric that I write that I don't play to him first.
But I'm not the only one. Let's
Right.
be honest. She actually has a committee.
I
Lyrics by- She's got a jury.
Jury.
Reads her lyrics too. And if you offer her an opinion, she's definitely probably going to get the opposite opinion from somebody, and eventually you'll be like arguing about lyrics with somebody.
Do you want to mention who that person is that you were arguing
Yeah,
over lyrics
Well,
with?
it's any number of people. It could be Tony Berg. It could be Paul Stacey had some opinion. I mean, Blake Mills. I thought, like, none of these guys know what they're talking about.
Well, everybody's got a different filter system, right? You're like, no, you can. This is fine.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us what you want to play for us today?
Well, after hearing the song that Jackson sung, I kind of changed my mind with the song I was going to sing. So now I want to sing Under the Sun, which is a song I actually wrote with Sonia Kitchell, speaking of. And it's a real fun one because I get to feature Charlotte and Nate. So
That's
You
cool.
ready?
I'm awake.
Yeah.
I like that you changed the song in the moment. That's
I
great
do
news.
too.
That's great. Thank you.
You still can't
right.
see Nate though.
We're gonna go ahead.
I'm going to be the camera switcher that just keeps doing it.
Where you at, Nate?
There you
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
I need some strobe lights.
I told you she's very talented. You see that? She's like
Nate, you should just, you just
editing.
need to leap across the camera scene during the set. You know.
All right. Tal Wilkenfeld on the Rock and Talk Show.
Yay.
I call out to the ocean. My tears fall into the sea for the vows that have been broken across the dunes of time repeatedly, like a knight in battered armor. I lay my sword upon the ground, 'cause I can't keep fighting these same battles has been found. It's hard to feel things changing after all's been said and done. We spend our lives rearranging everything under the sun. I walk the same road to work each Monday. Every step tears at my heel. I sleep not to dream, but to forget on Sunday. A spoke just turning with the wheel. It's hard to feel things changing after all's been said and done. We spend our lives rearranging everything under the sun. Reaching for the sky, feet buried in the ground. Looking for some way out of the circle spinning round. My eyes on the horizon, seeking out the light. But don't let me be lost forever in the night. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Don't let me be lost. No, no, no. Oh no, don't let me be lost. 'Cause it's hard to feel things changing after all's been said and done. We spend our lives rearranging everything under the sun. Under the sun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
That
Wow.
was beautiful.
Great piece
Yeah,
of
it
music.
was.
Great
I
performance.
gotta ask you, like, we all know you as a bass player. Now you're a singer songwriter.
Wow.
And when did that, or is bass your first instrument? I'm guessing it is.
No, guitar is my first instrument.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I started on a nylon string acoustic, and then within a few weeks I got an electric guitar. And then I started playing guitar when I was 14. And then by 16 I was moving to the States to play music full time. And it was there I went to this guitar school that I got a scholarship to. It's kind of like an after graduate program, but I was like the only teenager there. And I kept playing like all this rhythm stuff on guitar because I just got introduced to like Earth, Wind and Fire and like a bunch of like really great music. And I kept like playing rhythm guitar and like even like slapping guitar, like playing bass stuff. And so like a bunch of people were like, hey Tal, you ever thought about playing the bass? And I was like, yeah, maybe. And at this point I was like 17 and I was like, is it too late in life to like switch to the bass? So yeah, I switched to the bass when I was 17.
And
You
when
were right to the 4-string, or what was the first bass you got?
Yeah, I went straight to 4-string, and I've stuck to the 4-string.
I thought so. Yeah.
95% of the time. Like I have one song called Haunted Love that I play on a 5-string that's tuned with a high C, so like it's E-A-D-G-C.
Oh,
and
I
I
see.
kind of play it like a baritone guitar. So it's not really like a 5-string bass like for like groove stuff.
Yeah.
I like 4 strings for playing groove stuff, but I also like certain 5 strings with a low B. It's just, I don't know. There's something about 4 strings, the way that the instrument resonates with me. Probably because my ears are like accustomed to that sound. The electric bass sound was developed on a 4-string.
Yeah.
And so that's what I hear in my head. Like that's my go-to and my reference for like what bass is, you know.
Yep. The bass.
You're amazing.
You, Mike Watt, Flea, you know, there's a gang of y'all. You know, I play 5 strings, but I grew up in a time where keyboard bass was just like taking over, and I thought maybe I'll be out of a job if I don't.
I mean, a lot of us are like, because a lot of gigs they're like, you got to play with the low B, you know, and it's like, you know. But I also like my first bass mentor was Anthony Jackson, and like he's kind of renowned for like tuning his bass all the way down to like a C or a B with 4 strings, like on all those like old Shaka Khan records and stuff. Like he was still on 4-string, and so like I kind of, because he mentored me when I was a teenager, I kind of like, you know, and then he's the one that ended up going to like a 6-string bass. But I was like, no, but I kind of like sticking out. So, you know,
do you spend much?
All the various.
I was gonna say, do you spend much time hanging out with Rhonda Smith? Rhonda's a good friend of mine.
I've never. Oh no, I've met her once, very briefly, because we kind of switched. I don't want to say we switched gigs, but like I was playing with Jeff Beck and she was doing Prince, and then I started doing Prince stuff, and then she started playing with Jeff, and then she started touring with Jeff, and then I was touring with Herbie, and we did a double bill show with Jeff and Herbie, so we both played the same night, and that's where we met. But it was like really brief.
Cool.
Yeah,
you need to work on your resume a little bit.
Right?
It's a little light. It's a little light. Was Jeff and Vinny your first gig?
My first gig was with Chick Corea. But no, actually, my first gig was
my first gig. My first gig was with Chick Corea.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
No, my first gig was actually, technically, it was with the Allman Brothers in New York. Like, they saw me playing at a club when I was 18, and then they invited me to, like, sit in with them at the Beacon. And that's kind of like, that recording was what I used when I sent my music. I sent my music and the Allman Brothers recording to Jeff Beck and to Chick Corea. So
that's what I love about what you do, not only with your instrument, but your courage to go out and get what you want. And no one's going to stop you from playing with Pete Townsend. No one's going to stop you from writing with Jackson Browne. And your vision happens, and it's inspiring to see you in action.
It is.
And I love the way you run your career. And I know careers are bumpy, and the last 2 years have been crazy, but now you're back on tour making records. I think it's great, Tal.
You were very blessed and definitely a chosen one for your journey.
So I want to ask you, because being the tech guy, are you into NFTs? Are you doing the NFT thing yet? Have you gotten into that space?
I haven't really gotten into, I mean, I've gotten into like Bitcoin and stuff, but I haven't really got into like making my own NFTs. So
you will, I promise.
Well, listen, it's this show could go on forever.
Yes. It
but
can.
I'm setting my timer for forever right now. Hold on.
I wish we were all like at a campfire right now.
forever.
We could just keep talking all night. Roast marshmallows.
I mean, I like talking to Jackson for like forever anyway. Like I have like a gazillion questions for him. I actually
we all do.
If I have like a koan, like or an unanswerable question, Jackson's the first person I call.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's awesome.
He'll stay on the phone with me for hours trying to answer my unanswerable questions.
Aw, that's
See,
awesome.
that sounds like a new show. Answer my unanswered question.
He's really, really, really good at it.
Well,
Oh, okay.
listen, Tal, thank you so much. Jackson, thank you so much. Are we going to see either of you at the Ace Hotel tomorrow night, maybe? Do we know about Little Feet at the Ace Hotel?
I'm really thinking about it. I've got to go out on tour. I don't mind being, I go out on tour with a really strict protocol. So I can, I'm not going to miss any gigs, but going to like a big crowded venue right before I'm supposed to go on tour is generally frowned upon in my.
Actually, he told me the protocol. It's basically like make sure you have COVID and monkeypox when you go out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you got them both, you don't have to worry as much.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about it.
That's the cockroach theory.
The most germophobic person I've ever met. He hasn't been. You're not kidding. She's not in Iceland, but she might as well be. She's in her studio, and she just has,
Hey Nate, can you pass me the hand sanitizer? I need to clean my ears after this conversation.
At least you can see Nate at that point. No.
I wash all the time, but I'm still dirty on the inside. I just can't get it
Oh,
out.
Perkins. Stop. So Jackson, do tell us though, before we close out, you are on tour and I think you're going to be in Los Angeles soon, right?
Yeah, I'm going to play at the Greek on the, I think it's the 5th or the
I believe.
no, it's the 4th.
Are you playing in Detroit?
No, this whole tour, this leg is all on the west.
Well, I guess I got to come out and be with the
4th
the
of
gangs.
next month, 4th of September.
September 4th, Greek
September at
Theater.
the Greek, and I'm playing in San Diego on the 1st and the.
And up at the Santa Barbara Bowl too. Or no, you already did the Santa Barbara Bowl.
No, the
right?
bowl is on the 7th. So yeah, I'm playing in California and the West Coast, and then moving into the Western states.
Tal, do you have any gigs coming up?
I just finished a tour and I'm working on another tour in December. So I'm probably going to post the dates in 10 days or so, like Nashville and a bunch of Atlanta.
Are you going to do it with Charlotte? Charlotte, are you going into
I wish that would be like
doing other stuff.
My dream,
We'll figure that out though.
Eventually, yeah. Right now we're doing trio. It's just me, me drums, guitar. And actually, we just did a tour with like no crew at all.
Are you playing guitar or bass on your tour?
I'm playing bass, and then like for a couple songs, I'll switch, and the guitarist plays bass, and I play guitar.
Who's your guitar?
Hey, wait a minute. I got a big rock show to do tonight. Fishbone opening for George Clinton.
Woo!
On the One Nation Under a Groove grand finale tour for his career, and I hate to go. This is one of the funnest rock and talk shows, but I still got to change clothes and
That's right.
Man, you look great the way you are.
Norwood, we love you. Have a good show.
Great.
Tell George we all love him.
Yeah.
Tell Fish I love him too.
Fam.
And on that note, Tal, again, thank you. Jackson, thank you so much. This is really one of the most special shows I think we've ever done, and it's show 59, so it's not like it's our first show. Thank you so much.
It's fun to be with you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh my God, it's such a pleasure. And we want everybody to please like us on the Rock and Talk Show, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Tune in where our next show is on August 25th. And we'll let you know who our guests will be very soon.
Don't go away, you guys. Don't go away. Don't go
thanks
away.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
See you next time on the Rock and Talk Show Beyond Backstage with your hosts, Norwood Fisher, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss. Executive producers, Sheila Conlon and David Moss. Producer and director, Eric Lloyd. Assistant producer and creative director, Mark Armentano. Editor, Graham Cooper. Theme music by ThinkX. Sponsors, IK Multimedia and Lewitt Microphones. Artist Relations, TPI Films. Special thanks to From the Earth, ThinkX, The Conlon Company, and Mac. Check us out on YouTube/The Rock and Talk Show. Facebook and Instagram at The Rock and Talk Show.
And there you have it. Until August 25th, everybody be good.